Good morning, guys. For today's session would be introduction to AutoCAD as part of the Computer Studio 1 subject. So today's session I'll give an introduction on what are the initial setups you require to start on to your drafting, and from there we'll see on the introduction to the graphic user interface of AutoCAD, and then we go about in creating how to create a line and a basic geometric shape. The AutoCAD version what I'm using is for the Mac, and this is slightly different from the as in the interface. Graphic user interface is slightly different from what the Windows would be, but with the help of the tools and the commands, I'll be able to guide you through. That shouldn't be a problem for you to use or apply the same onto the Windows interface. So this will be the first. So once you double click on the AutoCAD icon and you open up the software, so this window would be the first introduction, asking you what type of template you want to choose, and that is for a new file. If you have already been working on a file, like something on continue working, you can pick up your existing files which you'll be working on. For as concerned for a new file, go on to new and click on the first ACAD name plot style DWT and click open. So here, this is the window of AutoCAD, and the main difference what we see from Windows version to a Mac version here is at this part there will be set of tools displayed on the windows, wherein in a Mac we don't have that. The other windows are pretty much the same. You have the tool set on to the left, your status bar, command line, all of these in the bottom. And as like every software, there's a menu bar. So this is a graphic user interface of AutoCAD. You have the title of the drawing, and then you have the menu bar on the top, the large tool set that you find here. These are the tools which helps us to create, edit all our plot draftings, and this is the command line at the bottom. And these are other options. Let you know. This part at the left, right corner, right bottom corner, is your cursor, the cursor position on your sheet. As in, you see three entities, but currently only two entities are displayed because we are working on a two-dimensional layout. So the three entities here are X, Y, and Z. But being a 2D, we have only X and Z being marked, are seen. The first initial setup required to do here in AutoCAD is okay. Before that, how to go about? Yeah, one important content I would like to tell is yes, AutoCAD has these graphical user buttons which shows you the names, and you click on it to proceed on to your drafting. But beyond that, there's one important feature which is the one best thing I can tell you on AutoCAD is the command-based services or command-based tools. See, AutoCAD has multiple versions ranging from, to my knowledge, it's from 2000, AutoCAD 2000 to now currently is even AutoCAD 2021 is also available. Every version, the basic tool sets remain the same, but every version there is a slight update or modification on betterment of the software. The user interface, which is like these buttons or the layout and how it is displayed, they keep changing from every version to version. But with all that, getting into all the adaptability, one part which is easily workable is the command based option, which is the common. Even as I told you, there's a big difference from the Mac version to the Windows version, as in for the graphic user interface. But again, what brings in common is a command based system. The command based system is an example. If I want to draw a line, I can type in on the bottom a line and click on enter. So then it asks me what's the point. It gives you, I can click one point here on the screen, and then whatever units I want to measure, I can take it. I can click on the screen for the next point. Otherwise, if I know a value, like example 50 here, I'll give 50 and press enter. So the line is created. To exit out of a command, you press a escape button on your keyboard. This is a command option which I was telling about. So likewise, if I want to go into the options dialog box, I click on options and the options dialog box opens up. So these commands are common across all the versions. So this is what makes it much more easier to use across all the latest updated versions. So the command based tools are one key feature in AutoCAD for us to get adapted to the different versions. So what is the basic setup we require? Okay, so we're going to draft here. This is a drafting tool, and so basically we'll be using either one of the two unit systems. One is either imperial system or the metric system, which is either you do feet and inches or meters or millimeters. So how do we go about it? So as I told you, when I created the line, I clicked on a point and then I gave a value as 50. The 50 is just units. It doesn't have anything as like they are not particular meant for any particular system. So to configure that, so what we do is we'll type in the command units and this window opens up. The only thing here is we have to look into is if you're going with metric, we'll go with decimal. If you're going with the imperial system, then we select architectural. And the other settings we don't need to bother on as of now. There's another one setting which we might be again using in the latest stage would be this part here at the bottom, the insertion scale. If we are inserting a block or a small drawing from another file to here, then in that case, what is the units which we need to select? So as of now, right now we are going with the metric. We just give the metric units and then click OK. So this becomes a platform now. You can delete off the line. So now if I'm going to do a line, L-I-N-E, I click on a first point, then I'll give the distance as 60. So hereafter all these drawings would be based on the calculation for meters, as in to measure. So I got a line here. If I need to measure, I click on the distance. The recent versions have these easier interface of we can start typing in the initial two words and then we get the command listed out. But in the older versions, we manually have to type the full sentence. Usually, all of these commands have a shortcut, as like the shorter version of the command, which is for a distance, it is di. So even if I click di, it means it's distance. I can click here. This is almost like a measuring tape, and I can click to the end point, and you can see the distance being listed out here on the screen, which is distance 60. And the command bar is where we usually type the command, and this also would be C. But just being the command bar being on a single line, we are not able to see much of the info here. But if at all, if we press F2 in our keyboard, F2, we can expand the command bar, and every step what we do would be seen here, would be recorded here. Likewise, I can move this window. I'll remove this window. If you see the recent command which we typed on here is the distance di, and we can see the value all mentioned here. So likewise, if at all we have to do again the basic point of a line, I click on line. It asks you on the what is a, if you see at the bottom of the command bar, it's asked for what is the specify the first point. So once I click the first point, it asks me what's the next point. So all of these options are pretty much available here, and you can see here for me to do this line, I have this difficulty of not able to get a straight line unless until I keep my mouse cursor on a very sturdy place. But AutoCAD, there's another one option is there are these list of buttons here. If you use the ortho mode, I think it's F8 in the shortcut is F8 for Windows. Click on this. This can give you the orthogonal angles, and it'll be a definite straight lines. So if I'm going to put 30, so you can see every step what we take here, and click escape. Every step what we take here is being seen here on the command. So that's our preference. If at all we want to be cautious on the first till the time we get used to the software, we might need to use all of this. Otherwise, it's still fine. We can have a minimized window of the command bar. So this way you can try creating rectangles and your square, pentagons, whatever shape you want to have. And next is again the next shape primarily would be because the rigid shape is done, the circle. What we'll just see what is going to be there for the circle. I'll again open up the command bar. The circle command is CI is a shortcut, but if at all we can type the full command circle. Specify the center point. You can read out what is that. Specify the center point of the circle. So we can, I'll click on the screen now. It asks what is the radius. So I'll give 10 and so the simpler way to create a circle. So in this first interaction for you all with AutoCAD, you can just try exploring these things and try working out basic shapes, lines, what are the variations. If you can create a good pattern, you can try doing it. And once you're working on all of this, the next part would definitely be how to save a file. What do we do on this? So as like for any other software, we go into file, click save. This interface again is slightly different from as I told you the Mac version and the Windows version. I'll give my desktop. I can give my file a name, and you can select what are the versions depending on the multiple versions of. So currently it's 2010, which is much more. I picked 2013 as a version. A .dwg file. .dwg is a file extension for AutoCAD, and click save. So we'll have a file saved in the desktop. So this is what is for today's class. So hope you guys try out the same with your own systems and get a hold of AutoCAD. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you.